white folk raged. He raged because he have seen it that something doesn't add up. And in today's video, I brought you this particular video so that you can understand, watch carefully and understand what this particular white folk is talking about. When he says something doesn't add up, and when I saw that clip, I know that there is facts in what this man is saying. But do we just fold our hands without looking out for solution for ourselves? Do we just keep silent and not ask ourselves some critical questions and look out for what can actually not only benefit us, but our generation? Do we keep mute so that our generations that are coming should also suffer what we have been suffering because of our forefathers, our grandparents that actually kept quiet? Watch this video and let me know what you guys think about this video. Welcome back again to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And I'm going to be leaving his TikTok handle as well. Please do watch to support him because this white man is really doing a great job. With that being said, let's get right into this video and I'll be back with commentaries. And this is just for educational purpose. Let's go, guys.
Something doesn't add up. Governments around the world aren't just failing at random, it looks too orchestrated. And if that's the case, then this is dangerous info. I mean, look around. Energy grids collapsing, food systems stumbling, parliaments in constant deadlock. Leaders suddenly look incapable of solving even basic problems. That's not just bad luck, that's stagecraft. The elites are trying to abolish governments. The reason why governments around the world look incapable in the past few years, it's not random, not at all. Fact. In places like the World Economic Forum, the UN's development programs and private think tanks, they are already talking about post-nation governance. A future where borders and politicians fade, replaced by algorithmic management. Smart cities run by code, resources distributed by digital overseers. AI not just assisting government, but being the government. Now, AI governance in itself isn't evil. It could mean fairness, efficiency, decisions made without human corruption. But only if it was neutral. Open code, public servers, oversight by truth, not profit. But that's not what's being prepared. Right now the servers belong to corporate giants. The algorithms are written by private labs. Oversight? Nobody. Which means the people would be trading flawed governments for something worse. A control system you can't vote out, can't question, can't even see. Fact. The EU has already passed laws for AI oversight boards. Fact. The UN's 2030 agenda speaks of automated monitoring of resources and populations. Fact. Defense departments are testing predictive governance models as we speak. The collapse of trust in governments isn't an accident, it's a setup. The replacement isn't democracy reborn, it's governance by machine, owned by the same few who hollowed out the old system. You look at the West and you think we are living the dream. But let me show you the truth with numbers. In Europe, the richest 10% own about 60% of everything. In the United States, the top 1% alone hold almost a third of all wealth. And the bottom half together, they own just 2%. Now look at Africa. The richest 1%, just 1 in 100, own about half of everything. In South Africa, the top 10% control more than 80% of the country's wealth. Do you see the pattern so far? It's not you against us. It's all of us beneath the same pyramid. Yes, there are differences. Here in the West, poverty is hidden behind clean streets and credit cards. People live in houses that belong to the banks, drive cars that belong to finance companies, and buy food on debt. I know it looks like comfort. It isn't, and it's actually control. In Africa, inequality is even more visible. The mansions of the few stand out against the struggles of the many. But the design is the same. A tiny elite holding everything while the majority carry the weight. We are actually more alike than you think. You are told that we are rich, but most of us are drowning in debt, stress, poison, food, and illusions. And we are told you are poor, but your lands are rich, your spirit is strong, and still the same sharks feed on you. So let's be clear. The problem is not that Africans lack or that Westerners have. The problem is that everywhere, the wealth of nations is captured by the few, while the many are told stories to keep them divided. So, you think we are your enemy? We were told you are ours. But the truth is actually simpler than that. We are all being lied to. And as long as we believe the lie, the pyramid stands. Right now, multiple readings. The future is about innovation. AI, smart cities, green energy. But that's the cover story. The real future is about reducing the human surplus without a single bullet fired. And the system that is being built makes it look like progress. In the old world, humans were assets. More people meant more labor, more soldiers, more taxpayers. But technology flipped the equation. When automation does the work, people become liabilities. They consume resources and they produce nothing. From a corporate state perspective, they are dead weight on the balance sheet. Now, what happens to liabilities in any system? They are minimized, quietly, efficiently. You don't announce population reduction. You don't draft policies that say, time to eliminate 800 million people. You design the environment so people self-select out of life. First, you control food economics. Make real nutrition a luxury. Flood markets with synthetic hyper-processed calories. Why? Cheap to make, addictive to consume, and lethal over time. Obesity, diabetes, cancers. It's slow-motion euthanasia disguised as personal choice. And then you privatize survival systems. Hospitals, medicine, insurance. Turn health into a product, and when the bill comes and you can't pay, nature takes its course. No violence, no fingerprints. Meanwhile, you flood culture with distractions. War headlines, influencer drama, ideological cage matches, so no one notices the algorithm that decides who thrives and who quietly disappears. People think they are arguing politics, but in reality they are debating inside the zoo enclosure, while the zookeeper holds the keys to their lifespan. This isn't genocide. It is market-driven selection, a corporate Darwinism where the unprofitable simply phase out. And the punchline? They don't kill you. They invoice you until you die. This is the most profitable extinction in human history. And is happening in slow motion while everyone thinks they are free. If you want to see the future, don't look at science fiction. Look at the small experiments already happening today. Because the systems we live in are being stress tested, and what comes next will feel wild, but it's already underway. We are moving into a world where nations are not only divided by borders, but by information itself. China has the Great Firewall. Russia is building the Runet. The EU speaks of digital sovereignty. Soon your passport won't just decide where you can travel physically, it will decide what you can know digitally. Whole populations will be sealed into national intranets, and inside those walls, communities will be isolated into algorithmic silos. You can already see it on social media today. What happens in one community never reaches another. And then comes the economy. Central bank digital currencies are already being piloted. Once programmable money replaces cash, every transaction can be limited by category, by location, and even by your carbon footprint. Rationing will not arrive at your door with soldiers. It will arrive with a line of code in your digital wallet. And at the same time, information itself becomes synthetic. Entire leaders or movements may be AI generated and indistinguishable from the real thing. AR and AI media will allow two people standing on the same street to see entirely different realities. One sees calm, the other sees chaos. And this isn't fantasy, it's already possible. And protest itself? Crowd control is shifting from buttons to behavior. Sound and frequency weapons exist today. Now extend that forward. Emotional dampening at scale. A city where outrage never ignites because the very environment suppresses anger. Punishment shifts from prison to digital exile. You're free to walk the street, but cut off from banking, ID, and transport. Social death replaces physical bars. This is the trajectory. A world digitally and physically fragmented, where communities cannot compare notes, economies run on programmable scarcity, and consensus reality itself is manufactured. None of this is speculation. Each piece is already being tested. The wild future is built one quiet pilot program at a time. So the question isn't whether the future is coming. The question is who writes the rules of it and whether we accept the cage because it looks like safety. Stay close. The next glimpse is already here. Let me give you a timeline. Now watch closely. By the end of it, you'll understand something interesting. September 10th. A shockwave. Charlie Kirk is assassinated at Utah Valley University. For days, headlines loop endlessly. Tributes, outrage, conspiracy theories, flags at half-staff. The story completely dominates. September 14th to 21st. The aftershocks. Memorials, political resolutions, and even the boardroom moves at Turning Point USA. Erica Kirk steps into leadership. The US House debates his legacy. The narrative is everywhere. September 17th to 22nd. A late night twist. Jimmy Kimmel's show is suddenly suspended. But not for ratings. It's for his commentary about Charlie Kirk's death. For nearly a week, culture wars shift into overdrive, keeping the story alive on every single feed. September 21st. 90,000 gather in Arizona for Kirk's memorial. The stadium is packed, cameras rolling, media saturation guaranteed. September 23rd to 24th, the prophecy. Viral videos claim the rapture will happen on those exact days. So you get fear memes, arguments, and TikTok spiraling. Media caught in a loop of apocalyptic expectation and disillusion when nothing happens. By the end of September, the public's attention has been pulled through assassination, culture war television drama, stadium memorials, and doomsday countdowns. Now, in the middle of all of this noise, did anyone notice there was supposed to be a nationwide economic blackout in the United States? A strike meant to put pressure on the system itself? Of course you forgot about it. Because this is how psychological operations work. Flood the narrative space so thoroughly that the signal disappears. The question is, how many other signals have we already missed?
Welcome back, guys. That is all I got for this particular video, and you cannot convince me that what this man said from the first clip to the last clip is not what is happening. You cannot convince me. If you want to convince me, feel free to convince me in the comment section. Because literally what this man said is what is happening as it stands now. The rich just keep getting richer, while the poor just keep getting poorer. Not just because it is American, but it is a general terms in the whole wide world. And sometimes I ask myself questions like, why can't they create a system that can benefit a whole lot of people, even the poor? Even the poor. And why this is a major concern to me that I actually bring this video is, it is not because it's just Americans, right? It is because even we too, that we're in Africa, we know what we are going through. There are some part of Africa that as I'm talking to you like this, they've not seen any glimpse of electricity, and of which that is really poor. But their own top people, their own rich people are in 247 electricity. I think there was a time the news was circulating that my own president in Nigeria actually used how many billions just to install solar in his house. Billions that he would have said, okay, let's make electricity permanent for the whole of the country. Is as shameful as that as giant as Nigeria is, there is not steady electricity. And to some parts that are having steady electricity, the bills will be so outrageous that even the poor man would not love to live in that place, because at the end of the day, you can't afford it. We farm, we fish, but we are still starving. There are some states that food prices are so ridiculous that you keep asking yourself if those food are being imported. So let's now imagine Americans that most of their things are being imported. How do you think life will be? So it is more like the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Because no matter how we're trying to balance life and balance living, we find out that we've still been dragged back. I can tell you for a whole fact that if I have $1,000 right now, I can't get food that can literally take me for a full 1 month for a family of 3. Why? Because the moment you budget and then you're going to the market the next day, you are getting another ridiculous prices. So every single thing that this man said, and I agreed with him, it is not just in America. It is also affecting each and every one of us in different various places of our life. So it simply means that as a poor man, if you cannot literally walk out your way and stand, you are not going to survive it. He talked about the government system. He talked about a lot of things that if you put them into consideration, by this time around, you should know that what you are fighting, it is not just the government. It is not just the president, but you're fighting for the system. How can we balance the system? Is it even possible for us to balance the system? Are these people even ready to give us a listening ear? This man dropped some chili bone truths that I feel like, no, there is no way I have to get it down to you people's table. And I want you guys to let me know what your take is in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this particular video of every single thing that this man actually said. Do you think it's right? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think he's just saying it for saying sake? Do you think he is not even supposed to say it? I want you to get your thoughts in the comment section, because when I went to his comment section, a lot of people were like, yeah, this is true. A lot of people are like, yeah, we know about this. A lot of people are like, thank you for eye-opening. And I always urge especially my Black American people, to always learn to share videos like this, learn to share informations like this, learn to build a strong community, so that at the end of the day, you are going to bond with one another. Because it is getting to that point whereby it is not just about you, but you have to start looking out for your neighbors. You have to start checking them, their mental health, their social health. Every single person is going through one thing or the other. Anyways, I leave you to leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches used in today's episode. Please, you can see his TikTok handle on each of the clips I inserted. Try your possible best to support him and learn more from him. He is good, I can tell you for a whole fact. We do not support any form of violence here. This is just for educational purposes. And I stand a chance to be corrected where you think I'm wrong, so please feel free to correct me. Anyway, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And with no further ado, I do like I say in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.